You are looking at Ninjago City and Ninjago Docks right here. I'm not necessarily a huge Ninjago fan. I don't watch the TV shows or collect the figs, but these builds are remarkable. And I did pick up Ninjago Gardens a while back, and it's been kind of sitting in the backlog, but my dad's in town. We're gonna attack this thing and add to the Ninjago army here. What is up, everybody? My name is Aaron. I am the Brick Scavenger. You are looking at my stash for Halloween trick-or-treating today. We have my dad in town for Halloween, but we have another plan for Halloween week. While he's here, the whole family has a little Lego project. Look at what we're gonna try to tackle. Look at this. We are looking at 5,685 pieces of the Ninjago City Gardens. So this will be a family project for Halloween week. It will end up in the Ninjago area someday. I don't know if we're gonna get help from this guy. He has been doing a lot of this lately. Soka is so big, probably 30 plus pounds now. We got him when he was 9 pounds. He is a happy puppy. Always hungry. We're gonna get started today. We'll see. My dad's in town for like 5 days. Can we tackle 5,600 pieces in 5 days? We'll see. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're gonna do some updates as we go here. My dad is starting on book 1. Bag 1 was mostly just, setting up the base. Maybe some plumbing over here or some kind of underground electrical. We're not quite sure what that is yet.
Turbine, maybe.
A turbine, could be a turbine, yeah, we'll see. I'm sure we'll discover more as we go. It looks like he's working on some exterior waterways here, maybe. Note that we are building on a base plate that has been converted into mills so that this will be much more sturdy as we're picking it up. And then coming over here so that we can both work at once, I'm actually just starting right on book 2, which is bag 11. So I've been working on this little ice cream shop, trying to get in there close, because once this thing is built, you won't be able to see anything in there. At least I think it's an ice cream shop. Maybe it's gelato or something else. But anyway, we've got some interior details of an ice cream shop here. But notably, a couple things on this. One, the awning on the outside of this ice cream shop here is made of a bunch of minifigure like axes or little like chef tools that would be used for chopping or something. I'm not sure exactly what those would be called. But that is maybe 16 of those little axe pieces that make up the awning. So that's a fun little detail. These Ninjago sets always have great details when you build. But then I just found that when I was attaching right in here, there's one of those hinge pieces. And when you first put this on, it's a little disorienting because these don't line up. And I was thinking, what in the world? That is super weird. But notice, this is super cool. We have one of these skeleton arms right here. And we have an unused rod bar right here. This hinge actually is going to slide in here. And then from the above view, that clip from the skeleton, I'm trying to do this with one hand, is actually going to snap into that bar and connect these together. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. There we go. Just like that. So it gives us a fun angle for this little tiny ice cream shop that will no doubt be, on one of the levels of this building. So I'm still not even done with the first bag, bag 11, but already some fun interior details and building techniques. We'll continue on, give you some more fun reviews as we go along building this huge Ninjago set. I think this is number 3 of these giant, city builds. All right, guys, on to bag 12, learning that each bag appears to be like a little, section of this building, different restaurants or stores or whatever. This one I wanted to show you because it's got a tiny little space where the cooking happens here. This is a restaurant. There's a place to eat over here. But two things of note that I thought you would appreciate, that I really appreciated. First of all, look at this. This is a hot dog with 2 clips attached to it. And I assume if you haven't built this, you have no idea what this is about to be. But look at this. This is going to clip in like this right here. And it is going to be the awning. Let's see if I can get it just right. There we go. This is going to bend up like this. This is going to be the awning on top of the restaurant. And they got this curved angle by attaching clip pieces to a hot dog to get the curve. Just remarkable building techniques. These Ninjago builds never cease to amaze me. These and the Chinese festival ones never cease to amaze me. Now, one more thing I want to show you. The minifigure in bag 12 is not a minifigure. He's kind of like the spokesman for this restaurant, or the owner, or the advertiser, or whatever. And if you're looking at this going, dude, you put the legs on backwards. I didn't, actually. Check this out. This is not considered a mini, you know, I guess it's a minifigure in the set, but it's not supposed to be a minifigure. Okay, this guy is going to intentionally have his legs on backwards. We're going to bend his, I'll put his hat on in a minute. We're going to bend his legs backwards like this. And now he is going to actually go into these 2 studs with his legs like this, bend this up, put his hat on, and now he's a part of the awning as sort of the guy that is, you know, serving your rice or whatever in your restaurant. That's unbelievable. You got the curved awning and you've got the guy on top with the minifigure legs on backwards. That's amazing. Then on top of that, this is actually going to be a, you know, like a, what do you call that thing? I don't even know. My geometry is terrible. But it's going to be like shaped, you know, like this, right? But check out the way this thing clips together. You've got these right here with the hole, with the stud on the side brick with the hole in it. And over here, you've got a clip strategically placed on a bar here. And the end of this clip is going to perfectly go into that hole, closing it up. Whoops, I just knocked something off. But that is how, oh, I knocked it off. Let's do it again. I missed. Let's do it again. Okay, hold on. Let's do it again. We gotta maybe hold it down so it doesn't fly off. There we go. And then I knocked something else off. Hard to do on camera. Oh no. All right, hold on. Well, hopefully you're appreciating the comedy. Well, I tell you what, let's do it this way. Let's put this in here and we'll show you. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to be. Then this goes here like this. And now the clip is going to lock into the bar. Much easier to do it this way. We'll hold it down just in case. And now it is locked perfectly in there. So you get this kind of crazy angular restaurant. Again, Ninjago builds, super fun. The building techniques are amazing. Notice this pipe going through here. This is actually a silver cup. And the handle of the cup went into a stud on the side brick to be able to lock in perfectly and line up to be a part of this exhaust. All right, there's bag 12, guys. More reviews coming. But man, this set is so much fun, as Ninjago big sets like this always are. All right, this is bag 14 here. I think this is like a gift shop or an art gallery. It's got some security cameras there. Little dragon statue that's fun. But what I wanted to show you on this was this right here. Check this out. We got these brown windows, and then we've got this right here. Look at the way this is well thought out right here. This is going to go in right here like this. And those turn into, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this. The lighting is terrible, but the little statues on like the bookcase that fit in there perfectly into the windows. So cool. Very fun little build. Not a lot of noteworthy like techniques in here, but little art gallery will go somewhere into this build. All right, super cute build here to wrap up bag 15. We got this little wall. We've got the, special samurai hilt displayed here. That was a fun little build to make that case. More importantly, Lego once again boggles my mind. This wall is going to go in right here at this angle, but look at the way this is done. We've got these I don't know, I refer to them as slider pieces, the things with the little kind of rails on them on either side, which creates just enough of a gap right here so that these orange triangular pieces will fit at an angle in the gap here and here. Can you see that? And that thing slides in there like that. That's unbelievable, that angle that was just created and the way they designed the wall to be the perfect length to fit into that space so that the little slider pieces, they don't actually physically lock in, but they just fit snugly in there perfectly to create that wall. That's mind-boggling right there. Once again, Ninjago, unbelievable building techniques as we continue on. All right, getting caught up on what my dad is working on. He started on book 1. He had a ton of tile work to do to get started. So he made the base. Looks like we got a pond over here. Look at this fun tree, the way they used the Wolverine claws to make some of the leaves there. That's super fun. We got this big stand thing that we're not quite sure what it is yet. So someday we'll figure that out. Got a tree over here that has got a few leaves on it.
Yeah, ask your friends if I'm allowed to further modify the tree.
My dad wants to know how rule following we have to be. He's not pleased with the amount of foliage on this tree, so he's asking what the official rules are on whether the set is allowed to be modified so that we can have more foliage on the tree or not.
I want flowering trees.
To be determined whether they can be more foliage or flowering otherwise. Notice my wife has the Haunted Mansion in progress in the background here. So he is making progress. Looks like he's now working on the first room from book 1. I have now finished book number 2 over here. So this level, we've covered a little bit already, but just a few notable things that I thought were cute. This little umbrella stand, as simple as it is, I thought was super fun. A little telescope build that was fun here. On this side, I just wanted to point out the flower pot here is that blue piece. That's actually a minifigure skirt turned upside down, which doesn't lock in until you use the stems of the green leaves to lock into some hollow studs. Here's another one right here where it's like a skirt that's a minifigure skirt, but that's a super cute way to use a piece in an unusual way. This entire wall was built here, and then we'll lock in using a few studs right here. So book 2 complete. My dad continues on book 1. Maybe book 3 is next. Again, amazing micro part usage. Ninjago's doing it again. Wrapping up bag number 17 here. Another little room or building. It almost feels like a gazebo where you could sit and have tea or food or whatever. We've got a little safe here, which when you open it up, has some kind of blue cheese wedge in it. Apparently it's a reference to some kind of moldy cheese. I don't understand that reference, but that's what I've kind of read a little bit more about. The roof, the awning of this gazebo is super cool. It is actually 10 treasure chest tops. So in black. So if you are looking for some reason for a bunch of treasure chest tops in black, this set, good way to get those. And then what's kind of fun is underneath these, whoops, I knocked one off. We'll put that back on. Underneath these treasure chest roof pieces, is a little reference to a Ninjago episode where some of the team members had to wear orange helmets and participate in a roller derby. I haven't seen the episode, but again, something I read about. The orange helmet, super hard to find otherwise, so if you're interested in an orange spaceman, there is an orange helmet in this set as well. It's hiding underneath the roof here. We are off to bag number 18. All right, wrapping up bag 18. I think this is a little apartment right here. We've got a super cute little swivel chair in there. We've got a little place to put your hat, amongst a few other things, a TV. This poster is super cool right here. But check these two things out. We've got ourselves like a little shrimp. Amazing details in this little shrimp right here. This attaches to the outside of this thing. We'll put that on when I've got two hands to work with. But then look at this. You may have seen several of these before, these little kind of arcade games, which, you know, the design is fine, except look at this. If I can get the light right. Inside of there, we have got a little dragon and a little guy, ninja, that fights the dragon, but you can actually play the video game by hitting the joystick up and down. The little guy goes up and down. I'm telling you guys, if you have never built a Ninjago set, you are missing out, and you need to get in on these. The details are just remarkable. Sunday morning at the Brick Scavenger household. Check this out. I'm working on Ninjago City Gardens. Over here, my dad is working on Ninjago City Gardens. Next to him, my wife is working on the Haunted Mansion. And next to her, my daughter is working on a friend's shopping mall. Truly, the Lego family that builds together stays together. Too much fun on a Sunday here at the Brick Scavenger house. Hope you guys are having fun building wherever you are. All right, so we are moving on to this roof piece right here. We have got the various plants built up, ready for the exterior. We've got the roof pieces, which were some fun builds, but nothing crazy noteworthy. But using a bunch of white clips, rods, battle droid pieces, boomerangs. Take a look at this fun little skeleton right here. I assume this is of like a dragon or something, but this is gonna go in the window. That has some remarkable detail in it for such small pieces. Love it. Can't wait to see what this thing's gonna look like fully assembled. I've made it to bags 23 and 24. Bag 23 kind of put the bottom layer of this pond down. I really like the way Lego does make interesting water. What they'll do is they'll put down the greens and dark black colors and then cover it with all these trans blue tiles. And it's just way more interesting water pattern than just putting down the trans blue tiles, even on a blue base plate. Really adds for kind of a depth in the water that has, you know, plant life growing underneath it. So this is your before shot. I will show you again once all the tiles down how that is gonna look. Here's a look at the same plate that I just showed you before, but now more or less covered in trans blue tiles. You can see it just gives it, with the different dark and light underlayer, gives it kind of a feel of different depths, things like that, which are just much more appealing to the eye than just having blue underneath. So I really like that. I have seen sections, not in this set, but in other sets, where they'll actually use some printed tiles to have little koi fish and other things in here, which are super fun. I did notice that some of these, they intentionally left, it's gonna be hard to show now, but these studs, these round studs with holes in them, they left those untiled so that you could then put plant life in there. And then, you know, you've got some lily pads with flowers floating in there as well. Details. No shortage of details for these Ninjago sets. I just finished up the final bag of Ninjago City Gardens. It's kind of a side build that will attach to the gardens. It's sort of the Japanese version of a gazebo. Call it a pavilion, I suppose. It's got these fun red bridges that lead over the water. Nice little statue over here. It's a beautiful build. Absolutely love it. And so this will attach eventually to the rest of the city gardens. My dad is finishing up book 1 right now, and then we'll put all the different buildings on top of it, attach this thing, and we'll have a final Ninjago City Gardens to add to the Ninjago area in the city. I'm excited to see how it turns out. The details in this roof are beautiful as well. Some megaphones in there, all sorts of fun stuff. So my job is done. Now I sit back and watch him build, and we'll get to assemble this whole thing. All right, my dad finished book 1. There is a lot going on in book 1. This is actually my first look at it, and so I'm seeing it right along with you guys for the first time. But the first thing I'll note is just incredible details on this thing. You know, it seems like no part of this thing wasn't well thought out. Got a fun awning over here. I don't know what's inside of that room. We got some flowers. We got the pond here. Looks like a little tea shop or something going on in there. We've got the tree being used as part of the support system for the level, which is interesting. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful, I will say that. Can't wait to see it when the other levels are on it. Looks like there's a little bench to sit on at the base of the tree. I will note that when we tried to attach this gray level to the bottom, it was not easy to do, and parts of it don't really attach or like clip in very well. This brown tree has a Technic axle coming out of it vertically, which just slides into the underside of a brick on this gray part. So there's no real lock mechanism to it at all, which is a little frightening. I'm assuming it was built correctly, and you know, because all the weight will be kind of down, there's no reason to think it should break or fall apart or anything, but it certainly did not clip in. And then this little tower, which has got some fun details and it's a cool design, that gray panel up in there is completely loose. You see that? And so this piece is actually not clipped in at all to the base of the second level. And so with vertical weight, it will provide, you know, support for the weight. But left to right, it's not locked in. It's got sway. That's crazy. Anyway, level 1 is done. I have finished all of the other builds for levels 2 and 3. So now we just got to kind of attach the various buildings to this thing carefully. And we're going to have a finalized Ninjago City Gardens. I'm super excited. All right, we're starting to put this whole thing together now. It's starting to look pretty good. What's crazy is when we added, I guess if you count it as level 1, 2, 3, level 3, it does not have a single stud that locks it in. Not a single one.
Same thing with this.
It's just gonna slide into place.
Just slips into place.
We're up to level 4 here. That used, look at the shrimp.
Yeah.
We have some very unusual locking systems.
Just slot. It basically is just a, you know, gravity holds it into one layer, one level lower.
It's crazy the way that is locking in. It's looking great. We'll take you for a tour of this whole thing when it's complete. We're getting really close to the tail end. And then we'll take a tour of the minifigures as well for anybody that hasn't seen the minifigures that's in this set. All right, this is gonna be a fun display, but I will note this has been my first major source of frustration in this build. This piece is cool, but it is incredibly fragile. And as you're trying to lock these things in at these weird 45-degree angles, it's very easy to kind of cause the thing to collapse on itself. So I've got it now. We're gonna put it on the tower here and see how it looks. But if you haven't built this yet and you plan on building it, Hopefully I don't collapse it right here on camera. Do be careful, because that has been a source of frustration for the last 15 minutes. But there it is. Looks pretty good. Still more to lock in, but it's getting there. Yet another source of frustration here at the end with this thing. This piece right here with these white and pink flowers and the yellow kind of arch, it doesn't fit in there easily, at least not in my experience. I appreciate the effort of the builders to try to make fun connections and things that sort of lock in without studs. But we really had a hard time getting this thing into the correct orientation. And so that was a little bit frustrating. We went back and double checked that everything was built correctly, studied it for a while, and maybe I'm the only one. But I will note that with creative building techniques can occasionally come frustration and confusion. And we've had that for a couple additions to this Ninjago City Gardens set here. It's beautiful, can't complain, but some source of frustration kind of here at the end. All right, just a quick kind of preview of the minifigures that were in this set. I wouldn't say there was anything that was like really, you know, super fun, but I don't think they're supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be, you know, citizens of the city. And so you've got your Kai and your Cole and your Nia and your Jay minifigures here. I will note that this golden 10 years woo is pretty awesome. So that's a fun fig to get right there. I'm not sure if I'll put that one in the gardens or maybe on the wall, but a bunch of minifigures in the set for sure. What is not pictured here is the fig that is used as the noodle shop salesman guy. That's kind of like part statue, part minifig. There's also a gray statue in the middle of like a fountain area. And I think there's a robot as well. But that's a good look at the figs, in case you were wondering what figs are in this ginormous Ninjago set. That is it. Ninjago City Gardens is complete. Overall, I'm giving this one very, very high scores. The aesthetics are beautiful. Building techniques were very interesting. This thing's gonna look great next to Ninjago City and Ninjago Docks. Can't wait to put it down there and see how it all looks together. Someday we're gonna do some hard work to make a Ninjago area look really good, but for now, these can just sit together. I will note that I am very thankful that I put these on Mills plates. If you haven't seen Mills plates or don't know what they are, it's kind of a base plate, brick plate sandwich. I do have a video that you can check out if you're not aware of what Mills are. But this thing is so heavy that carrying it around is a little bit dicey, even on a Mills plate. So if it was on a standard base plate, it would make me very nervous. I will note that carrying this thing around is a little dicey even on Mills, because the two pins that keep the 32 by 32 plate connected to the 16 by 32 plate together are not enough, and it's kind of trying to fold apart with one hand on this and one hand on this. So I'm gonna have to do a better job carrying this thing to the basement. But if you don't have this thing, I highly recommend you snag it before it retires. I don't know if it retires at the end of 2023 or not, but this is one that you don't want to miss out on if you're a Ninjago fan or just a fan of fun, big buildings. This would look great in any Lego city. Let's go put this thing next to City and Docks and see how it all looks together for one final clip. This is not the final resting spot for Ninjago, but for now, it still looks really good together. We've got Ninjago City, Ninjago Docks, and now Ninjago Gardens. Ninjago Market is out and available, which we'll have to acquire soon, although it doesn't retire anytime soon, so I'm not in a huge hurry to get it. Do notice that Gardens is built on a Mills plate, but I built the other two pre-Mills plates. So as much as a nightmare as it sounds, we may have to convert those to Mills plates someday. That sounds terrible. But Super thankful that despite I'm not a big Ninjago fan, that I bought these first two before they retired. But now I'm hooked. Now we're just gonna have to scoop up all these as they come out. I don't know how many Lego's gonna make, but we will certainly own markets before too long and add this in there. Final thoughts, guys. Absolutely spectacular. Don't miss out. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something fun about these Ninjago builds, the good, the bad, and there's not really a lot of ugly here. But appreciate you hanging out. We will see you next time on the Brick Scavenger channel. Much more fun to build. Now the focus turns to the Winter Village for the next 2 months and final months of 2023.